Welcome back
to the back corner
to the Dozens.
and the Dozens.
We're so glad that you are here with us again today.
Just feeling that beat today.
55 BC.
Look at us.
We're back in the back corner with some of the OGs,
Yes.
which stands for old guys in Mike's case and original gangsters in both Mike and Anthony's case.
There you go. There you go.
Bro, you're past your first heart attack and open heart surgery. You're officially an old guy now.
I'm good. I wanted to get it out of the way.
9 grandkids.
Yeah.
Welcome,
fair.
number 9. Congrats.
Number 9, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's,
Sophia.
Sophia.
Yeah.
Which
Means wisdom.
That would be my youngest daughter, Emily.
Okay.
It's her first child.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That is awesome. You could get worse grandparents than Mike and Colleen MacNiel. I'm going to tell you
Sure
right
you
now.
could.
Good.
You just hit the jackpot.
Mr. and Mrs. Himmler.
Yeah.
I guess you got to start somewhere.
Can you imagine?
I'm pretty.
Little Timmy Himmler didn't spend a lot of time with his
Yeah,
grandparents.
that's true. Because did he
Can you
actually?
imagine the classic,
Yeah.
like, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've heard my grandparents say some kind of racist things.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Thank you,
pretty
Timmy
sure
Himmler.
him and his direct family didn't survive the war. I could be wrong.
I don't think so
He
either.
got, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
The whole
Or
thing.
did he escape to Argentina?
Of course.
You ever watch Hunting Hitler?
Was there?
Great
there,
doc- great
there must have been a
documentary
lot of
series.
yeah. There must have been a lot of name changes post-Nazi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a lot of Hitlers around. Not a lot of Goerings.
Yeah.
Not a lot of
Goebbels.
You know,
Or,
yeah.
Whatever his name is. Yeah.
You know, those are both,
Yeah,
Goebbels and
Goebbels.
Goering were both.
Yeah.
But I think they would say that Goebbels or something.
Goebbels.
Goebbels.
Yeah.
Goebbels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I don't know
nice.
how we got into Nazis already, but here we are.
I have a friend who says that any conversation carried on long enough will eventually arrive at Hitler or poop. And
Okay.
I've never
seen-
found it to be contrary, but this might be the fastest we've gotten to one of those.
Anecdotally, that holds up.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does
Well, they
hold
don't need any introduction, but why don't we intro our guest today?
Absolutely. Mike and Anthony are the OG guests of the back corner. They're both on staff at King's Church. Anthony loves a good campfire, and Mike enjoys his heart beating properly. We're excited to dive back into a whole assortment of topics today. Please welcome back Mike MacNiel and Anthony Moore!
Great to be here.
Yeah.
It is.
Great to be anywhere.
It's
Great to
always, it's always.
Next up, he gets no respect.
Yeah, I get no respect. I tell you.
Take my wife. No, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Today's sponsor,
Yes.
King's Academy
King's
and
Academy.
Crew North.
We got the brains behind
Yes.
King's Academy here in the back
We
corner.
got the KA crew.
Yep.
And we got another season of King's Academy coming up. We're
Yep.
just wrapping this one up.
All of us here
Yep.
have taught
Yeah.
or teach
Yeah.
classes.
Yeah, no, we're all part of the family.
machinery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
hey, if you're a fan of the back corner, you might be a fan of King's Academy.
Professors,
Yeah.
directors, the heads of departments.
Yeah.
It's quite a King's Academy love in here today.
is.
Yeah, and
is.
I would say just to shout out the website if you want to find out more about King's Academy, kingsacademy.cc.
What does? I mean, we're assuming everybody knows, but we've
Okay,
as
yeah,
we
yeah,
have
yeah.
been discovering because producer
Yeah.
Ron's been showing us some metrics. The reach of the back corner is reaching.
Oh,
So
jeepers.
welcome to all
We
the
could
new
use a
dozens.
few more dozens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
hey.
King's
we
Academy.
Yeah,
sure
go.
could.
Well, hey, it's doing good though. Like we've had a lot of people come
Yeah.
through, but there's room for more.
Yeah, 100%.
So what is it?
What is it? Well, it is a 9-month-long equipping boot camp. Basically, we've trimmed all the fat and boiled it down to the essentials of
For a ministry apprenticeship
for a
program.
ministry apprenticeship program. And
King's Academy
Yep,
is the
King's
vehicle
Academy
it's
is
inside.
the overarching umbrella of it. So it's the ministry apprenticeship program is the curated 9-month program. The King's Academy is sort of everything plus some Saturday seminaries, some Sunday night schools, and other things that are thrown into the mix where people can come and they could do one-offs. They could take a 3-hour session, or they could do a 6-week course on theology, have AJ teach them, the impassibility characteristic of who God is.
Trinitarian theology,
Trinitarian
Christology.
theology, yeah.
We touch on a little eschatology, a touch of
Heresy,
pneumology. We get into a lot of
Oh, yeah.
heresy.
A lot of ologies.
A lot of ologies.
It's basically a collection
No
of ologies.
biology.
No.
When you get into Christology, there actually is some biology involved.
Well, he is the God man.
Virgin
We're not-
birth.
Yeah.
We're not looking at like plants or
No.
Yeah.
Mostly just the fact that,
Osmosis or-
Jesus was fully God and fully man.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the virgin birth. Those would be the two big ones.
Speaking of plants, today's episode is brought to you by seasonal allergies.
Seasonal allergies.
I am dying.
yeah.
Just for the listeners
yeah.
at home, to all my fellow misophoniacs, if you hear a lot of sniffing, it's me. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yes, but before we move on,
Yeah, yeah, keep
King's
back to
Academy, kingsacademy.cc is the place to go to find out more about True North, to find more about the Ministry Apprenticeship Program, and basically
Take a class too. Like you
yeah.
don't have to actually sign up for the. I mean, if you do the 9-month
Yeah.
process, you could start, and in 9 months you could give birth to a whole new you.
Yeah, you could.
But
Yeah,
you,
come
you,
and take Brent's leadership class.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
take
Really good one.
you could
Come
take
take
one-off classes. A lot of people do that, and
Yeah.
it's serving a great purpose in people's lives.
We've had some people too who kind of use that as like a taste and see thing. They'll come and do a class. It's a
For
pretty
sure.
simple commitment, and then they'll turn around. In fact, Back Corner alumni Mark Kennedy,
Yep.
we had on not that
Yeah.
many episodes ago. He came and did one course, and he was like, "I'm in," and he's
Yeah.
doing the whole rest of it this year.
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
And True
And-
North, for those of you who don't know, that's our GAP program for
Yep.
students coming out of high school.
Yep.
And Mike leads that. And tell us two things about it, Mike.
Well, you get to take classes at King's Academy. That's part of it. But we also have like a hands-on ministry apprenticeship and adventure stuff.
Yeah.
And so
doing street ministry,
volunteering in the
trips.
church. Yeah, a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything when it comes to
there is,
ministry.
for sure. And it's like this like King's Academy specifically has really turned into a solid leadership pipeline for us. We've had some really key leaders participate and come out of it. Like even some just the cream sort of rises to the top, and we're seeing that start to work, and it's really encouraging.
Yeah, it's been great. So check it out. Sign up for a course. Some of the courses are like just good for any disciple.
Yeah.
Right. How to read the Bible, basic systematic theology. Like those things are just going to better your love for Jesus and your walk with Him.
Yeah.
Others are a little more ministry oriented.
Yep.
But there's something for everybody. So check it out.
Worth shouting out too that there's a couple of different levels you can do it on depending on how much coursework /credit
Yeah.
you want. There's a leadership track and a discipleship track, and then also it's all available fully online, so you don't have to live in the St. John area to be a part of it.
I was
That's
going to say
that's a
that we
key
got
detail.
dozens across this country.
Yes.
So you can beam in. Many people do that.
If you have an internet connection, you can do King's Academy.
Yep. Awesome. That gets a horn blast.
There we go.
Yeah.
Three horns for King's Academy. All right, let's
Sign up
fire
now
up the
for September.
teletype machine. Ron, what are we researching today?
I want to know how you guys feel about reality TV. Yes or no? Reality shows.
That's a good question. That's a good one for people to chime in. Yes or no, and then if yes, what is your favorite? Or if no, what ruined it for you?
Boys.
I go way back to I've been watching Survivor since the first season, so
You're still on it.
I'm still on it. I'm very
That's
I'm
commitment. That's like
I'm
50.
I'm
50
selective
seasons.
though. I don't watch a lot of reality. Most of it no, but some of it yes.
Yeah, last time I watched Survivor had Colby Donaldson on it, and like
Well, he was on
Elizabeth
again.
had-
They brought they
yeah.
brought all the best people back.
Did they
bring back
Season.
Boston
I'm pretty
Rob?
sure it was
No,
season
except for
2.
Boston Rob.
Yeah, but he's been
Boston
back
Rob.
multiple times. Though.
He has,
Yeah.
All right, we have a lot of people in my life that love Survivor, so you're not alone. I think
Yeah.
it's got a pretty.
I
loyal
went
fan
through a
base.
pretty long phase, but I haven't watched it in years.
Me neither.
now.
No, I don't watch a lot of TV.
I'm gonna have to say that on reality TV, I am a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. I look down on it, and the aspects of reality TV that I do watch are the lowest of the low that I look down on.
It's basically the worst of humanity. Then.
Well, yes, but I watch the worst of it.
Right,
too. Like,
right.
There's a
Worse
show.
meaning what? Like raunchy or?
Well, like trashy. Like there's a show that recently came out, and I'll confess this amongst my brothers here.
And the dozens.
Yeah,
the dozens.
and and a few thousand of our closest friends. But it was called, what was it called? Age of Love, and it was basically like one of these like reality dating shows where they send people away to this like resort. But no one's allowed to know anyone else's name, and there's a bunch of like really young people and a bunch of way older people, and they like couple up and then see if they can overcome these age differances. And
That sounds really low.
that's what I'm saying.
That sounds. You're scraping the bottom.
No,
of the
that's what
barrel
I'm
there.
telling you. Like it's yeah. I mean, it's not it's not super greasy. Like they're not like showing all kinds of shenanigans or whatever. But it is very much like, is it going to work out between this like 48-year-old woman and this 23-year-old guy? No, it's not going to work, and you're just there to watch it not work out. And
you're watching the train wreck, which is mostly what reality TV.
Yeah, so I would say I view it. It's like a dog returns to his vomit. That's where I am on reality TV. I acknowledge it's vomit, but every now and again, I'm like, okay, this will be interesting. So. That's my shame that I bear.
Yeah, no, I think there is some things like, I don't know if you lump reality TV. I think the part that like the thing that was Survivor it was in the beginning, and maybe it still is. I stopped watching like 48 seasons ago, but like competition, like drama, head to head, like some of those things. Those elements are like, I think would be very compelling. And actually, I think that's the good side of reality. Oh, you know what else was great reality TV-ish was that home. Remember the Move the Bus?
Yeah, home improvement one.
That home, like where they
move that bus.
So
extreme home makeover.
Extreme, and it was like again
good
with Ty, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and there was
the famous carpenter.
Some of those like where they're at least they purport some, some value, like some noble values.
Ty, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a celebrity carpenter. I don't like your chances, Ty. Let's just think carpenter.
Yeah, and there was some, I'm sure it's heavily scripted, even though it sort of advertises itself as reality television. But largely, I think the vast, majority of it is,
Vacuous,
bereft of any moral.
Now,
any value.
Here's where I'm at with reality TV though too, is I feel like there's a line of realness you can cross where it ceases to actually, I don't know what you call it, but like that show Alone.
See, that's the only one I watch.
Yeah, but see, to me, that's too real to be reality TV.
Right. Oh, it's not. Yeah, okay.
Like
you could die.
Well, yeah, and like it'd be an insult to lump that in with Keeping Up with the Kardashians. right. Like I feel like there's like a realer than real version. So there's like
those are the only ones I like.
There's like a competition, and they're like encouraging the drama, but there's probably it plays out somewhat realistic. Then there's the ones that are just like, frequently the term they'll use is unscripted television.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they're not saying it's unplanned or unproduced. They just don't actually have scripts.
Yeah.
Like what was the one with Gene Simmons where you followed his family around and Hogan Knows Best and the Ozzy Osbourne, like those.
I hate those. I can't do those.
Yeah,
shows.
and then you've got stuff like I love Alone too, but I almost feel like it'd be an insult to call it reality TV at this point.
If you're taking that off the table, then my answer is no to reality TV.
I feel like that's closer to documentary TV. Maybe
that's fair.
Right.
Fair.
Yeah,
I will say I will confess, since we're confessing today, I have gotten sucked in a few times. Like Melanie will be watching Love Is Blind. And I'll walk in and then find myself standing there for like 8 minutes, and then I'll sit down and just get sucked in.
Have you ever watched Love on the Spectrum?
Nah.
Oh, buddy. Oh, that's the greatest show.
I'm sure.
Oh, my word. It's so funny.
Sure it's
Dude, seriously.
I'm sure it's great.
No, it's amazing. It's just very quirky people. I'm familiar with what it is.
It's
like a dating show for autistic people. Oh, dude, it's phenomenal.
Well,
it's heartwarming and hilarious and
man,
top notch. I'll proudly stand by Love on the Spectrum.
I probably won't watch it. All right,
I'll just get Mel into it, and then you won't have any choice.
Yeah, I don't think she cared for it. I feel like she tried it.
Did she really?
She likes the Bachelor.
Yeah.
Love Is Blind.
Oh yeah,
it's
a little too classy for your wife.
I'm in a cohort. Actually, here's a funny confession. I'm in a cohort, and Ben from The Bachelor's in it.
Really?
Ben Higgins.
I
He was on like
never seen it.
season 7 years ago or so. But I've gone to this multiple times, and she's like, take a picture with him. I'm not freaking taking a picture. Like, it's just a bunch of dudes in a room. I'm not gonna be like, Ben, can I take a picture for my wife?
Yeah.
I did it last time I was there. Wow. It's like, hey man,
I thought the
this is
Backstreet
really hard
Boys
for me
was
to
as
do.
low as it was going to go.
This is really hard for me to do, but I really love my wife and I want to impress her. So can we do a selfie? He's like, yeah, man, let's go. So
that's
anyway,
hilarious.
I got a selfie with Ben Higgins from The Bachelor. So maybe I am a fan. All right, what do we got today? I think we got some light fare to start.
Yeah,
us off
I
with,
thought we'd start
so-
with some fun stuff.
Yeah, so everyone's favorite segment: overrated, overhated. Cue us up.
So today we're doing overhated, overrated, or underrated, or appropriately rated. We got 4 options today, and this is the Canadian Music Edition. I'm going to name
Going rapid fire here.
fairly, yeah. I'm going to name a Canadian musical artist or band, and you'll tell me if you think they are overrated, or overhated, or underrated, or appropriately rated. And I think this is a great chance for us to create some backlash in the comments section.
Yes.
And so yeah, we'll move through this fairly quickly. Bring on the hot takes, and we might as well start at the top.
The hottest take of
We
all.
know where you're going.
Nickelback.
Overhated. I don't
agree.
even like their music, but the society just decided they're going to be pariahs.
Yep.
And it's cool to hate Nickelback.
Yes.
And it's like they're legitimately treated unfairly.
Yeah.
Like
They're the Creed of Canada.
the Creed is
they're-
awesome.
Hey, if you follow Gym Bros, those guys love Creed.
I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking
Maybe 6 feet ain't so far now.
one of my favorite memes of all time is Lord of the Rings. They're like climbing the White Mountains, and they're like, I hear a foul voice on the winds.
Yeah.
And then it zooms in, and it's Saruman, and it zooms in, and he's standing on top of what is it?
Orthanc.
Yeah. Singing, hold me now. so funny. There's another super funny one too, where
yeah,
someone
yeah, yeah.
took all
Took
the
the music,
audio
yeah, of the
out of the
yeah.
video. So it's only the audio of what you'd be seeing if you're watching the video, and it's like Scott Stapp falling, and then he hits the ground.
You hear him zooming by singing.
An eagle goes by and goes. It's so freaking funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nickelback. I don't like them.
When you creep over into hating them for the sake of hating them,
Yeah.
that's overhated.
I find Chad Kroger's voice really grating.
Yeah, it's not my style.
But there's no level. I honestly don't think there's any level of people who can actually play their instruments who are musicians that deserve that level of hate.
Totally.
Agreed.
Totally. It's kind of sad, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're laughing.
Well, let's go for
just fine.
another Canadian star, Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, overrated, overhated, underrated, appropriately rated.
It's a good one. I go for it.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I lean. My initial reaction is overhated, but I think the guy's talent is undeniable, and he's certainly gone through his fair share of knocks in life.
Nobody should be that famous. In general, but
young.
especially that young.
Yeah. So I tend to lean slightly. If the needle it would lean slightly into overhated versus overrated, because I think he's extraordinarily talented and
Kind of his own worst enemy.
and kind of his own worst enemy.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would say he's been all of those things at one point or another, other than maybe underrated. I think he was overrated at first. Like, he's a kid who sings well, but he's not worthy of worship. And then I think
had
everyone
the killer hair though. The shaggy look.
And then everyone turned on him, and I think he was overhated. And these days, I think for the most part, people are like, he's got his issues, but he's talented. I'd call that appropriately rated.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. Fair.
Yeah. Rush.
Oh yeah. Here I'm gonna make some friends mad. Right? I think they're overrated.
Yep. I also agree.
Especially like Anthony and I have been in musical circles a little bit, and they're, at least in my peer groups, they've been highly rated
Yeah.
because of their technical prowess. Like, they're just incredible musicians. Their music kind of sucks.
Agreed.
Like, it's just not.
Geddy
great.
Lee
It's just-
is
yeah,
not
his
a
voice
great.
is
Is not a
terrible.
great
pretentious.
singer.
It's pretentious.
It is.
Tom Sawyer is a cool song.
Yep.
But it's just.
That's the only song of theirs I think I could name.
Oh no, there's the one.
They all do that.
I'm going overrated.
Yeah.
There is
Mike,
one I have
they're
a hot
from
take
they're
on.
from your generation. What do you-
I think I had a vinyl copy of Rush's first album when I was like 13.
Right.
Wow.
And I thought it was cool when I was 13, but then I got older. So that's my
Yeah.
take on them.
Yeah.
Similar era, the Guess Who.
I don't.
I think they're appropriately
I think so
rated.
too. Yeah, appropriately.
They had some
rated.
solid music.
Name some
in
of their hits
heyday.
for us, Mike.
Well, like American Woman,
Yeah.
Undone. There's a whole bunch of those.
These eyes.
These eyes, yeah.
That's a good song.
Taking care of business, is that Guess Who or is that?
No, that's BTO. Bachman Turner
Bachman
Overdrive.
Turner
Yes.
Overdrive.
Oh,
I was just talking to
Bachman was in
Pastor.
the Guess
okay.
Who.
I was talking to Pastor Seth Fancy today, and he stayed at a retreat center in BC that was formerly owned by BTO.
Really?
What do you know?
As of today.
I saw BTO live at the Lord Beaverbrook Rink.
Wow.
Okay.
What a
St.
terrible.
John.
Wow.
St. John.
How far
And you know
might have
who?
fallen?
You know who opened for them? Bob Seger.
Wow.
Because they were more
Really?
popular than
That's
Bob Seger.
crazy.
Wow.
Go
Some of
BTO.
those Canadian tours, man, those old bands,
Yeah.
they're just-
Yeah.
you feel bad for them.
Yes.
Who is that? Who's the band that sings Here for a Good Time, Not a Long Time?
Oh, Trooper.
Trooper.
Yes.
I saw Trooper in Fredericton.
Not a great band.
They played that song. They played that song twice in their
Yes.
set, and they were wearing their own merch.
Yeah.
Well,
hey,
hey,
They were there for a good set, not a diverse set.
yeah.
We're here for a good song.
Hey, jump over to the next list here. I want to hit a couple of these.
We got to go back for Drake.
All right, Drake.
Drake, rapid fire,
Overrated.
wildly overrated.
Yeah.
Yep. Overrated.
I mean, I feel like I'm not really up on that genre.
Yeah,
a
he's
whole
terrible.
lot,
I don't
so-
like him. Anne Murray,
The darling of Nova Scotia.
No.
Springfield.
This is so
Springfield,
subjective.
Nova
It is.
Scotia.
It
known
really
for
is.
I'm
prisons
gonna,
and-
hang my hat on overrated.
Yeah, I just don't
what
like
even
that,
what
but-
even is Anne Murray?
Yeah, I'd go
Yeah.
appropriately rated for her time.
Now, the
maybe.
next one, though,
Brian Adams.
underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's got a wicked voice.
Yeah.
He's written so many hits.
hit machine.
Some of the best love
Summer of
songs.
'69.
yeah.
right?
Some of the
Yeah.
best love songs. Like
Everything.
Everything I
that
do.
one is
Oh,
just. If I
come
could
on.
have wrote that, like,
Yep.
baby, you're all that I want.
He did incredible
Come on.
voice. His hygiene really trailed off there. At one
Yeah, a
point.
little bit of a grease ball.
Got
What's
pretty
the
greasy.
one? There's that one. I can't remember. He's got some good love.
Cuts
songs.
like a knife. Oh, the
Oh.
Tina Turner one. It's only love.
Possibly one of the most controversial ones we'll have on the list. The
This is
Tragically
the
Hip.
one I was waiting for.
Yes.
Tragically Hip.
Overrated.
I would say overrated too.
Yeah. Here's
Yeah.
I would say appropriately rated in the United States. Overrated in Canada.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
opposite of what's happened in Nickelback happened to the Tragically Hip.
Yeah.
That it became. It's like it's Canadiana.
Yes.
Like it's like there's Americana and it's like
I just
Yeah.
which I'm fine with. They can be our.
it all
poster.
sounds the same to me.
It
Yeah.
does.
Like
They have a few songs I like.
I feel like
but
Gord Downey's voice just has like one, like just overly earnest and waily.
they have a few really cool songs, but they're certainly not as good as what the credit they get. I place them in the category like the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're ubiquitous.
Yeah.
And
If that's your thing, but they're not winners.
yeah, well, they have a few flashes of greatness.
Yeah.
but otherwise pretty consistently disappointing.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shania Twain.
Appropriately rated.
Yeah, do people like her?
I mean, she felt like a woman. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Celine
I don't
Dion.
know.
Celine Dion.
Appropriately
Yeah,
rated.
appropriately
Yeah,
rated.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Not my thing at all,
No.
but undeniably fantastic.
I saw a
voice.
clip of Adele singing at a concert, and she found
Oh,
Celine
yeah,
Dion
yeah.
in the
Yeah, I saw that.
in the crowd, and like went and hugged her and started crying. It was pretty moving. They were both like, it was pretty cool.
All right, a few more real quick. Our Lady Peace.
I really like Our Lady Peace.
Yeah.
Here's the only caveat: they have their albums are great. Rain Maida is atrocious live. Like
I would say
he
the
is
same thing
such
about.
a bad singer.
Really?
Agreed.
So bad.
I was on a mission trip in Toronto, and they were doing the Much Music Video Awards outside. We didn't know what was going on. We just wandered into this outdoor concert. And they had the big lighting truss, went up about 25 feet. And while he was singing, Rain Maida climbed the lighting truss.
Yeah.
And then he realized he couldn't get back down with the mic in his hand. And so it was like this cool moment. And then they had to like basically stop the show for 5 minutes while he figured out
that
how to
reminds
get
He tried to
down.
do Eddie Vedder. Do it.
or like
hanging.
at like the Grammys or something.
Oh,
Rage,
yeah.
the guy from the bass player from Rage Against the Machine like climbed up the apparatus, and then
Yeah.
like 2 years later, Will Ferrell did it. And they go, "Will, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm raging."
I would lump Our Lady Peace and Tragically Hip together as like they're the recorded music is good, but I don't know why their live performance didn't sabotage their whole career.
Yeah,
because
Gord Downey is bad live too.
Bad live.
Again, they were both good showmen though, and Ray Maida is too, but they're bad singers.
I don't enjoy the Tragically Hip recorded, but I do like Our Lady Peace.
The second or third day of my honeymoon, I was at the Canada Day in Halifax.
Yep.
And it was a co-headlining where Our Lady Peace opened for Tragically Hip, and I stayed for the Our Lady Peace show and left before Tragically Hip took the stage.
I got the last one.
Nothing but respect.
I got
All
the
right.
last one that's not on the list.
All right.
But I think it needs to be here. Tom Cochrane.
Ooh.
Underrated.
Underrated. Is the correct answer.
Yes.
I think
He's a sleeper.
the one or two
Yes.
songs of his I can name are good, but I don't know his
My
work
boy's
that
going
much.
to play in the big
Oh,
leagues.
come on.
Yeah, and Life is a Highway.
Sinking like a sunset.
Singing like a sunset. Oh, so good. What about Lunatic Friends?
Oh.
Sounds like he's saying learn to take French. Learn to take French.
I'm gonna have to check out some Tom Cochrane. The main one I was Life is a
That's
Yeah.
well, come on. You write that.
yeah.
That's,
All right.
That's better than any song on this whole list that anybody's written.
three quick ones here. More generally, who's you think is the most underrated Canadian artist?
Oh, man.
The Weaker Thans.
The Weaker Thans.
Yeah.
I've heard of them. I don't know.
The
if I've
Weaker
heard much
Thans
of them.
are obscure band from Winnipeg, and they're so Canadian. Like they have a song called "Utilities," and the lyrics. Some of the lyrics are, "I wish I was a toothbrush or a solder gun. Make me into something somebody can use." And I was like,
wow.
if that's not Canadian, I don't know what is.
I like it.
Mine is Big Wreck.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Wreck
Solid.
is one of the most underrated Canadian bands. Ian Thornley is one of the best guitarists on the planet.
Yep. No, they're solid. They're really good.
To this day, probably the best live show I've ever seen. I was like 20 years old at the Aiken Center in Fredericton, and it was unreal.
I'm going to say this for the sake of just saying it. It's probably wrong, but I'm going to go with Glass Tiger.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Needed more.
I would be torn between a couple of Matt Mays
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I would say, and he's not lowly rated, but I still say he's underrated, particularly as a Canadian artist. It's Stan Rogers.
In that vein, too, Matt Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From Bristol, New Brunswick. That dude is incredible.
Yeah.
So.
Stan Rogers has a voice though that just make you cry for no reason, like just this deep, resonant, saddest song I've ever heard. Harrison the Mayor. Check it out if you ever need to clear out your tear ducts.
All right, let's go to the last one. Best Christian Canadian band or artist. Oh, it's an easy answer for me.
City Harmonic.
Oh, yeah.
From Hamilton.
Not wrong answer.
From Atlantic Canada, Three Season Ant.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That is the right answer.
What do you got, Anthony?
That's the right answer. That's the right answer.
I'm going Hocus Pick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were from out west somewhere, Vancouver. Something.
I didn't know
I
that.
love Hocus
Oh,
Pick.
that's cool. All right, let's get into
All
some.
right.
Let's get into some
I think
news.
we've had a palate
If we
cleanser
haven't
there.
lost everybody,
Oh, dude, people love this stuff.
do they?
Oh yeah, people are thrilled. People are thrilled. All right, in the news. First up, we want to talk about Nisa Powers, who I think we've got a clip here, and then we'll introduce it a little bit more.
Well, here I am. It's been a crazy couple of days, and I just wanted to say thank you to all the love and support that I've been shown, even if it is few and far between. I see it, and I am very grateful for it. And I'm really excited that I'm not discouraged to continue seeking God just because a few loud voices out there don't want me to, or at least don't want me to while loving my own identity. They would rather see me hate myself. And that's just not good for my journey with God, and also not good for me.
All right, I think that's
When
good.
I became a Christian,
catches us up.
I thought the only
We're good, Ron? There we go.
Who is this?
So Nisa Powers has been a really taken right off on social media. So he's a guy who lived as a woman for many years and then converted to Christianity and went through this, gained a massive following by detransitioning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody was like huge on social media, got like, I want to say hundreds of thousands of followers at least, like massive platform. Lots of people were making a big deal out of it, and was converting to Catholicism, and then came out here just a week or two ago as we're recording, although we're also a week or two ago as you're hearing this because we're not that far ahead, basically saying that he had decided to go back to living as a woman and that God wouldn't want him to hate himself, and he does when he lives as a man. And so he's going to go back. And then it's come out too, like that there's some holes in his story. Like he did this whole shtick about this girl that he'd met and started to date and how wonderful that was. But it turned out they'd been dating for years, like before he ever detransitioned. Right. So what do you guys think of this stuff? Do you think the whole detransition thing was authentic, or was it just a stunt for internet clout? Do you think that his conversion was or is authentic, or was it kind of a, authentic but maybe early missteps from a baby believer to really try to make themselves such a platform that way, or as we've talked about before, a misstep by the church from? Although this is a little different than a celebrity converting and everyone giving them credit. This is somebody who used their conversion / detransition story to gain a huge story. What does this whole story say about Christian social media in general? Any thoughts?
Well, my first thought is if giving Nisa the benefit of the doubt, I would assume there was some genuineness along the way. Whether that's real or not, that's going to be my position. I do think, sort of my first thought on this, like this is a little bit of a byproduct of being discipled by social media. Nisa would have benefited profoundly by having like a closer, and again, I'm speaking from an observer's position, right? I wonder how if this would have gone this way, if he had like a person in his life walking with him more closely rather than like doing things for feedback from social media.
Yeah.
So
it's hard. I mean, it's hard to know what's in a person's heart.
Yep.
But you can judge a tree by its fruit. And so I do think at very least you're seeing like maybe it was genuine when decided to follow Jesus, detransition. That very well could have been genuine, but I think one of the reasons Jesus told us you can't tell the authenticity of a person's conversion at first. Yeah. And there are multiple types of soil and multiple things that will corrupt the seed. And, accept whatever the reasons are. Acceptance, does seem like I would be much more, what's the word? I would believe the health behind the quote unquote health behind that move a lot more if it wasn't being aired out on social media. Like you're clearly addicted to the feedback.
Right.
And so that to me would be a major concern. But hey, I'm praying that person, I preached on it this past week. Like we're all a work in progress, that God is undertaking a large restoration. And it's not to say that even this isn't in some weird way, God bringing this person through.
Yep.
Like
the wrestle, right?
Like our hearts are divided a lot of the time, and you can in the one breath very much feel like I need Jesus. I need to give myself to Jesus, but there's also these other things that are at play inside of us, and those are at war in us for a long. And it takes a long time before. That's why I believe some of the old Wesleyan theology of like the second work of grace. Like I think there's a work of grace that happens where, at our conversion, we get the grace to believe. But there's something else that happens though when there's a surrender, and where your heart shifts, and the Baptists would call that regeneration, and the Wesleyans and the Arminians, we kind of separate those two things a little bit more. But anyway, it's a long answer to say I'm not sure I'm comfortable even.
Yeah, I think
judging what's going on there.
Yeah, I agree, because I think it's important to say, I think a healthy and wise position would be Nisa Powers wasn't written off when he was a man living as a woman, and he hadn't arrived when he was a man living as a
yes,
man,
that's kinda
and
what I
he's
was-
still not written off, even
Yeah.
if he's gone back as a man living as a woman. He's still, a
That-
target of God's love and a potential, recipient, of God's grace. And
Well, and like
yeah.
maybe I didn't say it well because I don't want people to hear me say like I think it's a good thing that Nisa is retransitioning. I don't think that's a good thing. However, the battle ultimately is over. Surrender to the lordship of Christ, but there's a battle for identity.
Yeah.
And if that's still raging and it's coming out to the front, okay, so be it. Get him, Lord. Like just
for
and
sure.
maybe that.
There's a point. There's a point in every Christian's life where they come to that point where like I have to die to myself.
Yes.
And find my identity in Christ. And so I don't think we should downplay any of the pain or the confusion or any of that involved. But like everybody comes to that point where they realize like lordship, and they realize I have to die to myself, and I have to let God dictate like
who
how I
am.
feel and who I am and all of that.
Yeah.
And,
So I'm hoping that
yeah.
that's it's like I've had this conversation with parents of, kids who grew up in the church and then they walk away and, saying to them and, I hope I don't ever have to say this to myself. I hope my kids don't go through this season, but it's very common for kids who grew up in church to quote unquote fall away.
Right.
But that falling away sometimes is actually a step forward in them discovering Jesus for themselves.
Yeah.
And so
Agreed.
my prayer for Nisa is that this is actually a painful and messy step forward, that there's going to be a deeper revelation of the lordship and goodness of God, and that he is invited into finding an identity deeper than even how he feels.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
I think in terms of trying to figure out, again, on the one hand, we're not called to judge people in terms of their eternal destiny or whatever, but we are supposed to be wise. I think in terms of, trying to figure out how authentic was a conversion or whatever, if there weren't a bunch of, and I mean, I mentioned the whole thing with this, how he lied about this new girlfriend that was his old girlfriend and they'd been together for years.
Yeah.
And I believe there's some other things there that does kind of give me pause just on a personal level trying to figure that out. But I would also say too, that even in sort of what you guys are saying, even in the worst case scenario, if this was a grift and this guy's been going to church just so he can take pictures of himself at church, and he's been talking to, he has talked to like some pastors that have strong social media followings, have in theory been mentoring him and stuff. Even if that's all been a grift, nevertheless, Christ is preached. And so, there's the story isn't over by a long shot. And I do think, those of us who pastor, we see people who, they come to Christ and they're all in for 6 months, and then some bump hits, and next thing they know, they go, oh, I hadn't really thought through everything this was going to cost me.
I'm always very cautious about the person that like ignites really hot, really fast. Like I'm always like, I'm going to watch and wait for a year or two before I give you too. You got to like hit the wall first.
Similar to some other warnings though that we've given people about kind of social media and platforming people, I would say that sometimes we as Christians have a tendency to confuse the spectacularness with someone's conversion with the depth and the authenticity of it.
For sure.
And I think because of the cultural moment we're in, people were kind of dying for an amazing story of someone who, found freedom from this whole issue through Christ that we could point to.
Yeah, we are perpetuating this problem.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, it's not.
Because it was Christians who were platforming,
right? Like if he's got 500,000 followers, that's not 500,000 atheists, right? Like that's a lot of those are believers, and so I guess just that same thing to go like, I wish him well. I believe the Lord could still be doing a work in his life. It's not really my place to say whether his actual conversion was authentic. I think there's evidence that it's certainly mixed bag in terms of how truthful he's been. But also just a warning to the church to go, just because it would make a cool testimony doesn't justify putting that, like platforming that person or giving that person a whole lot of credibility, or even just in your own head, in your own heart, right?
I think we got to get better at how we facilitate testimony.
Yeah,
like, because I don't want, like, we're supposed to tell those raw like testimony is key.
Yeah.
You know, and so I don't think we should be like, well, you can't tell your testimony until it's proven for 3 years. Like, get the guy that's just a fresh convert. But we need to be smarter about how we facilitate those testimony moments, I think, instead of saying like, you know, who were you before and who are you now? And like they kind of tie it all up in a nice, neat thing. Just be like, you know, tell the stories of how you met Jesus and what do you think, like, what do you think Jesus is saying to you now? Like to focus those testimonies more on Jesus, less on making that person a hero. Maybe that's where we're running into problems.
I just say I think Christians were the problem. I'm overgeneralizing. There's an element of the Christian community that we're the problem. I know. Yes. that we're part of the problem in platforming his story, and there's also going to be maybe a different segment of the Christian community. Maybe there's some overlap in actually throwing stones on the way down or on the turn of the page, right? So I do think that, you know, to your point, Brent, I think that there's a lot of wisdom in just saying, I celebrate that. That's awesome. Let's just, before we hand you the golden chalice to be the spokesperson for all things Christian, let's just hold off on that and let's see what happens when, you know, the honeymoon phase sort of you hit the wall. There get some tests, like there is tests that come into a believer's life, and so let's see you go through some difficult seasons, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between a testimony of conversion and a testimony of transformation.
Yeah,
and like a tree is known by its fruit.
Yeah,
and it takes seasons. For the fruit to grow, and so to say, isn't this cool that this guy gave his life to Jesus?
Yes.
I think that's valid. But to say, isn't it cool that he's experienced victory over this gender confusion he's had his whole life? And he blah, blah, blah. It's like,
and it comes out of a good place. Like I think
soon,
Christians, we want so bad that for other people. And so they get propped up to say, see, it's possible.
I think it's a combination of we want it for other people, but I also think that we want it for us to validate what we believe.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I think that's unhealthy.
The Sam Albury case, which is very recent, would be the same kind of thing where he gained a large following because of his wrestling with sexuality, but then the other side of that is when there's a fall or a slip up,
right?
It takes a lot of people down too.
Yeah, because he was living celibate. Or like as a same-sex attracted Christian man who chooses to be celibate.
Yeah, and people were looking for like a symbol of that, like something to hang on to.
Not only that, they were looking for a perfect symbol.
Right.
There was like perfection that was probably.
Right. So how we respond in these moments as the church is really important, right? Like even with you know, a guy like that, like Sam Albury, like we need to just get a little more elegant in our ability to get into some of these situations and scenarios. We just seem to like take the whole thing and make things black and white when they're very gray.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the right way to say this, but I feel like we need like more grace and patience, but maybe less trust.
Yeah.
Like
fair enough.
You know what I mean? To go like, like we're believing the best.
Well, we do it with our kids.
Yeah. Like we're believing the best is happening here, but we're going to give it time to season.
I did not hand my 2-year-old the car keys.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm just like, I unconditionally love you.
Yeah.
And
you let him in the car.
Yeah. And I envision a day where you're going to drive this thing, but not right
toy
now.
car.
Yeah.
It'll hurt somebody.
Yeah, because I think that for me the word is wisdom, right? Like wisdom will let you celebrate appropriately, but then make sure that the guardrails are established.
Yeah.
All right.
I think another part of the witness too is I'm not sure who said it, but the scandal of Christianity is that it doesn't just reach out to the victim, it reaches out to the perpetrator. So even after people fall, like the difference between us and the world is we don't turn on people and we don't write them off and we don't, we're kind of there for them even after the fall.
I'd be sad to know maybe some of the things that's been said to Nisa, from
for real
Christians. Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of Christians.
Yeah. Or maybe not. We'll go straight to the video on this and then we'll talk about it.
aviation watch. The Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, the AOPA, of which I've been a member for many years. And I had heard about that watch. It's a Breitling nav timer.
Nice watch.
Breitling
My bucket
speaks
list.
aviation. Amen. You think that one's pretty? It's a Breitling. It has diamonds around it.
Look at that.
Mylan
Oh,
Lefebvre, his beautiful bride is right here, Christy. Mylan called me. He said, how many Breitlings do you have? And I said, oh, I don't know, 36, I think. I haven't counted them lately. In my closet, I have winders, and there's a lot of them in there. He said, I'm going to give you number 37. Now, he's believing God for his healing. He said, I'm giving you my Bentley, and it has a Breitling clock. Whoa. Thank you, Jesus.
So this is Kenneth Copeland, and he's talking about Mylan Lefebvre, who was a Christian artist for many years, and basically,
Crack the sky.
pardon, yeah,
Crack the sky.
There you go. And so basically, Copeland is bragging about how many insanely expensive watches he has, and he likes to have them because he also owns private jets, and they're an aviation thing. And that when this guy was dying of cancer, he gave his Bentley with one of these Breitling clocks in it to Kenneth Copeland, trying to sow a seed for his healing. And he's telling that story, if it's not clear for those of you who didn't have the video, he's telling it in church to his congregation. But this guy's widow, who never did get cured of cancer, is sitting in the front row, and he's telling this in front of her and basically laughing about how rich he is. So there's a bunch of ways we could go with this conversation, but let's start with just this one. Should pastors flaunt, brag, make a big deal about their material possessions?
you guys go first.
Okay. I will go first.
I've got too many thoughts.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to.
So there's a couple things that I would say. One I would say, and again, there's nuance to this, so I could probably say a lot of things, but I'm going to say I think pastors can have nice things, right?
Absolutely.
I don't believe that they've taken a vow for poverty.
See this LL Bean I got
look
at
that.
Value Village for $10.
Got that LL Bean drip.
Right. And, and then we've talked ad nauseum about, not ad nauseum, but we've talked a lot about the situation where you could drive into the church parking lot with a $50,000 Lexus or Mercedes, and it would turn more heads than driving into the lot with a $100,000 Ford F-150.
For sure.
So there is a perception thing at play there but I say that pastors can have nice things. There are situations where, like, successful pastors who have, let's say, written books, right? And it's been misconstrued that they're making all their money off of the congregants or their parishioners, when in fact a large portion of the money that they earn is actually off of book sales. So I would say that is I've heard that as a sticking point for a lot of people who would be anti, rich pastors. So I would say that there's, those would be some of my things that I think about. Like, I think pastors can have nice things, and I think a lot of times it gets misconstrued by having a pastor like Rick Warren. Actually, probably did it better than everybody, of having a multi-million-dollar selling book, but did it, like, handled his wealth very well, unless you look at his library. But I think,
but even that though, I mean, he lived off less than 10%.
Right,
he
but
tied 90%.
again, but you say even that level of wealth that he lived off
Right.
of was still significant.
I think we got to be really careful about the poverty spirit.
Agreed.
And it can grab you from a variety of angles, and it can get you from, the one side being, I shouldn't have nice things.
Right.
I don't agree with that. Like, if God wants to bless, he can bless. And I do think God likes to bless. I don't think pastors all have to be poor. I don't think they all deserve to be rich. I think that's God's prerogative. Sometimes God gives pastors the ability to generate wealth with side hustles too. I have several friends that are like independently set, and it's not because of their church or their ministry. They own real estate. They They play the stock market.
One of the things I've noticed with, like, I believe that the sad thing about the prosperity gospel is that there is true biblical prosperity, like there is a
Yes.
principle in there, and this kind of like undermines it.
Yeah, so-
and one of the things I've noticed, Brian, about like people who have been blessed with that ability to get wealth, they almost invariably they see themselves as a channel of blessing, and they're very generous people.
For sure.
And so I would say one of the telltale signs of like your relationship with money is it's not the poverty thing, it's like how much you give and
Yeah.
like how other centered you are.
So I would say, again, this definitely stirs me and does some negative things in me for a few reasons, but it's not as far off as you might initially think. To your point, Mike, like I do think, like God's true to His word, like He loves a cheerful giver.
Yep.
I have found that some of the wealthiest people I know are also the freest with their money, and like they give the most. And I've met some poor people that money has a way bigger hold on their heart than on rich people. So that's not a tell of like how much money you have or don't have is not a tell or an indicator on the position of your heart.
Correct.
And so like that said, I don't think it's wise, and I don't think it's like that didn't come across as God honoring to me. That came across as Him flexing. It came across as I have 36 Breitlings. Honestly, if He has 36 Breitlings, like fine. If you have the means to do that and you feel like that's a good investment, it's between you and God. He can work that out with you. But I'm not sure how this is making much of Christ by using that as an analogy in your sermon.
Well,
And then-
in their
and then
theology,
tying it,
that's
and
right.
then
in their
tying
theology,
it to
the richer
give-
you are, the more that proves God is good.
yeah.
right.
Right.
Which that to me is the crux of the problem, right? Like it puts your prosperity, whether it's much of a lot or little, it still makes that thing the idol. And that's what I was trying to say in a
Yes.
poor way. Like
Yeah.
I've seen poor people who money is an idol.
Yeah.
And I've seen rich people who their money and materials are an idol, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think there's too much of a premium put on, hey, let's look at the blessing here,
Yeah.
and not like I think it causes a lot of problems, and it sets people up for, back to the toddler conversation, that can attract people to the kingdom in a way that says, well, trust God and give God your life, and He'll make you rich or healthy. And like that's not necessarily the invitation.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, it is if you're Kenneth Copeland.
but it
Yeah.
isn't. It isn't. That's not the invitation of the gospel. Like
No. That's my
but
point, though. That's what I'm saying. It's so dangerous
It's
about those
adjacent
ghosts.
from it, though. It's not far off, because like I do believe when Jesus says like, remain in me and you will bear much fruit. Like I do think fruitfulness and abundance
Yes.
and the absence of lack
Yes.
is the birthright of the believer.
Yeah.
The question is, who gets to define what flourishing is?
Actually means. Yeah.
And this kind of prosperity gospel always seems to loop back around to a very Western Americanized version of what flourishing looks like.
Yeah.
It's like, here's how flourishing I am. It's
Yeah.
Breitlings. It's Learjets. Well, that might not be kingdom flourishing.
I'm going to take
Yeah.
a slightly different approach. I do think that there is a level of money it is wrong for pastors to have. I don't think there's a level of money it's wrong for them to make, but I do think there's a level of money it's wrong for them to keep.
Just to be sitting on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that includes in the things you've spent it on as possessions.
What's that line?
I think that's the hard thing. But, and I think some of that is probably relative to where you live and that kind of thing. But I remember, I have a pastor friend once who, he said when he was candidating at a church and they were asking, this is kind of coming from the other end, how poor should a pastor be? And the board is trying to figure out how much they're going to pay you if you come and be the pastor. He said, well, every smart financial person will say your housing shouldn't cost more than a third of your income. So he said, I just asked them to average out what the house costs, the people on the board, what does the house cost? What does your house cost you? Average that out, and
Triple it.
And and that would put me kind of in that same ballpark, right? I'm not ahead or behind the people in the church, but I remember going to Nicaragua and, you know, seeing just incredible poverty and people who had all kinds of faith and loved Jesus, and lived on $2 a day. And I don't know how you look at them and say, like, well, you got a poverty spirit, or you got, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's just a reality to where they live and the situation they're in. And then
Mike, you've seen that firsthand.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
100%.
And so
and it's
when,
go ahead.
When you come back, you know, I was telling some of this story earlier today. I walk into a grocery store and I have a hard time. I'm not saying I don't know. I wrestle with, like, have a hard time thanking God for blessing me with the ability to buy all this food. Because if I give him credit for my ability to buy all this food, then I have to also give him the blame for their inability. Because these are not heathens. They're not people wasting their money. They're not people who don't have faith. They probably have way more faith than I do. They're probably more generous than I am. And so I do think there's a certain point where you cross a line from, isn't it great that God has blessed me, to I'm going to hoard this stuff. Where that is, I think you got to take it up with Jesus. But I know for me, if I owned 36 Breitlings, I would be a sinner. That would be sinful for me. Because I'm choosing to have 34 more watches than I need, or 35 more watches than I need, and way nicer watches than I need. And in that choice, I'm choosing not to sponsor 70,000 more kids through Compassion. I'm choosing not to give money to the poor person down the street. I'm choosing not to.
Like part of the reality of anybody that goes on a mission trip, statistically, when they come back, they give more.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
that, they thin out their closet. They see things differently, and they ultimately give more.
I think if we make the focus the materials, even into your point in some ways, AJ, I do think that becomes problematic. Like, I think, again, you know yourself, and so you know that I know what my heart would be like if I had 37 Breitlings.
But it's not about my heart. If I inherited them tomorrow, I wouldn't feel like I could keep them. It's about the objective reality of the better thing I could accomplish with the resources God has entrusted to me.
But that's how you have interpreted, like, this is what health is, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think though.
But what I'm saying
it's
is,
a moving
objectively, I
line.
think if you interpret 36 Breitlings as health, you're just wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's hard. It's certainly hard to make an argument. But what if no? But
Like,
listen,
it's not purely.
I don't think. Hold
Where
on.
exactly the line is hard to nail down, but it's not purely subjective, and it's not meat sacrifice to idols.
That again, and I'm not trying to, like, make the argument of the 0.01% here, but I know some very wealthy people who are generationally rich, and, like, okay, take, like, the Shah of Iran. He somehow he gets converted, and he gives away 90% of his wealth, and he still owns 100 Breitlings, and it's a fraction of what he's worth.
Right.
I think it's problematic if we say that's too much and that's not enough, because I've also felt, I think the poverty spirit can grab you from both sides. It can grab, and I think there's a subtle ditch there. And I'm not advocating to have 37 Breitlings, just for the record. I'm just saying I think we have to be careful if we make the arbitration of this around the items and the materials themselves. So
I'm not going to give you a definitive list of things, but I would say this. I do think that the risk of materialism is far higher
For sure.
almost everyone than the risk of the poverty spirit.
and the warnings of wealth and power are far higher.
Exactly. Like
I
there's
totally
nowhere.
agree.
Blessed are the blessed
I
are the
just-
poor in spirit. Easier for a rich man to get through the eye of a needle, right?
Here's let me throw this out here. The problem I have with that video is, and again, there's that video that was curated. There was some creepy music in the background, all of that stuff.
And he just looked creepy.
Yeah,
Dude, he's the
100%.
creepiest
100%.
person I've ever
so,
seen.
So that aside, the problem I have with that video is he was boasting in the Breitlings. He wasn't boasting in Jesus. At least that's
He
the
would
mess.
he would say, look at how good Jesus has been
right.
to me.
But I would say,
think
and
it's-
again, I would love to see that video in full context.
it's holding the Breitling up as the beautiful object and not
Right.
Jesus. And
Exactly.
that's the
That's-
thing.
that's-
That's
yes.
what I'm trying to say. Is like, let's
Yes.
just first not make the conversation surrounding the like an object other than Jesus, and then I'm trusting Jesus. Wisdom is probably going to lead you to, hey, that's an overabundance of Breitlings. I don't need that many.
If someone gave me one, I wouldn't turn it away.
I'm just saying. I think
Oh, dude, I'd love to have one. They're sweet.
I
I
think
think we can have nice stuff.
I think it's dangerous, though, to think that if I'm not convicted about it, then it's okay when it comes to wealth.
For sure.
And so I see far more, and I hear what you're saying, but I see far more danger in people taking your stance, that it becomes a way to justify stinginess and
I'm not
materialism.
disagreeing. I'm just saying both stances are dangerous.
Oh yeah, totally.
And like I think both can get you in trouble.
But I think
more people like live like I remember hearing my mentor talk to me about, like pastors' salaries and stuff. And he goes, no one can know other than the executive of the board, who's being paid what. Like that's proprietary information. And I said, why? And he said, because based on what people make, they're going to draw conclusions on whether it's right or wrong. Mm-hmm. And he said, the person that makes half of what you make are going to feel like you're getting paid too much. And, the businessman who's making 7 figures is going to feel like, why are we paying you that? And it's like, it's just, it always, if the money and the objects and the items become the focus, it always stirs up like carnality.
Oh, I grew up in a pastor's home, and the pastor never owned the home. I owned a home before my parents did. So you don't have to convince me of the downside of the cheap and stingy
and to jump
church.
on that though, the danger of, again, both sides of the slope. We've also come through, and you grew up in it, where a poverty mentality indicated policy in local churches to the point where the expectation was the pastor's going to be poor, which isn't biblical. It's not biblical. Like you read First Timothy.
No, totally.
First Timothy is like you pay the minister, and they're deserving of double honor. What they're doing is really hard.
I think even practically it makes sense for churches to pay a pastor at a level that will remove financial stress from his personal life. Because one of the things you're paying him to do is to carry stress on behalf of the church, him or her. And so I guess the thing that I'm not saying you are saying, and I think you've clarified it, but what I would want I wouldn't want the dozens to misunderstand the way I may have misunderstood, or if they understand you correctly, I want to argue with you about it. That that the idea that how much is too much, how much hoarding and keeping is too much, is not down to how you feel about it. No, there has to be something more.
And there should be wisdom in your lives, and
I think you're hitting on something.
Because there's lots of people who aren't convicted about how many women they're sleeping with.
But I want to
right?
the way that you're sort of pointing at that is called, like, again, I think when you say the word hoarding, that communicates something. And there are wealthy people who are good stewards of their money who wouldn't be hoarding. They're actually effectively deploying the resources that God's give them onto.
But here's
But I just say, like, again, I need to poke at this, right? So let's say the book you wrote, Sermon Craft.
Yep.
Let's say it sells.
Pick it up anywhere books are sold.
Yeah. Right.
Pick it up on Amazon only.
Let's say just hypothetically it becomes the next purpose-driven life, and you make millions of dollars off of that.
Yep.
And is there a difference if you were a pastor or not in how much money of that money you would keep?
Oh, no. I don't think it has anything to do with being a pastor, other than as a pastor, you're supposed to be an example to the disciples.
So
it's not a pastor.
Is there too much money? Is there too much money? Like, where's the line for you with that?
I don't have a specific line, and I think it probably is somewhat relative to your culture. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember back to that trip to Nicaragua, I remember looking at these shacks people were living in and thinking, like, these thin walls, they must freeze at night. And then I realized, wait, this is Nicaragua. It never gets cold. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to live in Canada, I have to have a house that costs more than people in a lot of the parts of the world. I'm just saying there comes a point where it is beyond your needs being met. It's beyond not having to be too stressed out about tomorrow, which is not actually a great thing either. I think God wants us to be dependent on him, and I think it's easy when you've accumulated that kind of wealth, to stop depending on him and start depending on yourself and on your money, which is why I think Jesus said it's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom than to go through the eye of a needle. I don't think that means you shouldn't be able to allowed to own a boat. I don't have a legalistic list of things,
Right.
but I feel like 37 high-end watches.
That's excessive.
Is
It
probably
seems excessive.
Sure.
So somewhere between I owned a house before my dad did as a pastor and 37 bright
There's a
lights.
line somewhere.
in there.
Yeah.
There's a line that exists, and I think it is not enough for you, if you're a person who's been blessed with that kind of wealth, to simply check with your own divided heart and go, what do I feel is okay? I think you need to discern it and be open to wisdom from other people.
Put a bow on this, at least for my part, so I'm very clear. I believe biblically and theologically, it's okay to be blessed. I mean, material blessed.
Yeah.
And Jesus had people who had nothing, and the kingdom's also been built by, people who are ultra wealthy, like starting right with Joseph of Arimathea and the ladies that funded his ministry. Like, it's okay to be blessed, and God does apportion some people to be abundantly blessed. With that, if you are a follower of Jesus, to whom much is given, much is expected. It says in, I think, 1 Timothy, command those who are rich in this world to be rich in good deeds. Like, he's expecting you that if he's blessed you, it's to be a blessing. And I have found, at least in church circles, the people who love Jesus and are materially blessed are typically, that goes hand in hand with being the most generous people.
Yeah.
It's because God knows if I put this in their hand, I can trust them with it. And so they're obligated to be a blessing. And typically, not saying generally, but typically, I have found that most of the people that God has, has promoted in such a way, it's because they have been deemed trustworthy to steward that much resource. And you see that in the parable of the talents. Jesus is like, okay, I'm giving you 2, I'm giving you 5, I'm going to give you 10. It's his prerogative to decide that. And it's very dangerous if the one with 2 starts looking at the one with 10 and saying, well, you shouldn't have that much. I think we got to be very careful with that.
But that, my pushback on that would just be, and it's not even a pushback, it's a clarification that sounds like a pushback, that none of the money belonged to them.
Let me finish my third point of my sermon. My third point is money is merely a multiplier.
Agreed.
Money is just going to reveal what's true in your heart. And so it's gonna show what's in there. And like the steward with 10 talents was a steward. It's like, I did this to honor you. Look what I've done, master.
And they have to come and give it back.
Exactly. So it's just going to show. I think it's fun.
It's a measure. It's like a measure.
It's a fun exercise. I've done this many times. Maybe it's even just a fantasy, but like sometimes I think about if I won the Lotto Max, which I don't buy them, but if I did, like, and I was generationally wealthy all of a sudden, what would I do? I probably wouldn't move. I would probably buy multiple buildings for King's Church. I wouldn't take a salary anymore. I'd pay back everything the church has paid me. I'd take probably a pretty obnoxious vacation. And then I'd come back to work. Right. And like, so all that money did is just show what's in my heart.
Exactly.
Right. Like it's just going to multiply.
Because arguing about the money and how much, I think, is the wrong conversation. Because ultimately it's going to be a reflection. Like, same thing as that video is like, it's going to be a reflection of what's actually going on in your heart.
But again, can you know that there are people starving and keep $1 billion and it not be something wrong in your heart?
Again, like, I would say that even the way that people complained when Mary came and broke the alabaster jar.
No, that's different. She didn't keep it. She gave it away.
But like, the argument was like, you could have sold that and use that for the poor.
Yeah,
sure,
I do think it's a bit of a.
But I'm talking about keeping it versus the poor, the church, the ministry, the whatever.
What's the difference between stewardship and keeping? If like again, if I'm stewarding something, and so again, go back to the independently wealthy thing. Say I'm worth $5 billion.
Sure.
Like, it's just stupid rich.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tithe the full thing to Kings.
No.
Because it would freaking wreck us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and there are people who are Like when you get into that level of wealth, you have to be led by the Lord. Like, yes, if we have millionaires listening, we can take your tithe. But no, legitimately though, like it would be bad stewardship if a multi-billionaire just said, "Hey, here's my tithe to a 200-person church."
Yeah.
What were you? They aren't built to steward that.
Totally.
So like there is a level of wisdom and elegance that needs to happen in that level, and it's not as simple. You know, people scoff sometimes when Elon Musk was making the rounds and they're like, "You could cure world hunger." And it's like, "Okay, tell me how and I'll do it."
Yeah.
It's not as simple as throwing money at problems. Like
but we all know there are ministries and organizations that could do more if they had those funds.
If he again, it just shows what's in your heart. If he actually wanted to get rid of that money, he could.
Yeah.
But I think it's unfair and unhealthy for those of us who aren't in that position to just assume that just because they have a lot and they haven't, we've perceived they haven't done a lot with that somehow they're hoarding. Like it's often more complicated than that.
If you look at
have
the story
that
of
level money.
Ananias and Sapphira, you know, when there's great grace upon the church and everybody's like feeling that and they're really generous, like the problem wasn't the money. Like the money was theirs. The problem wasn't when they sold the land the problem was the lie.
Yes.
Like the problem was the
Yes.
heart. It wasn't the amount.
Because Peter said,
Because Peter says,
keep it. Just keep
Yeah,
it. You didn't need to do this at
it
all.
was yours. Like why?
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I
It was
guess
what was
my
in their
point
heart,
is
yeah.
just at some point how much you keep, not how much you make. I want to be clear on that. I think you can make bajillions of dollars. I think that's great. I think a pastor could make billions if they had some way to do that. Great.
Do it.
But I think there's some level of keeping, and you'd have to take it up with the Lord for yourself. But
Well,
I do
that's
think
the key.
Right. But I do think there's what I'm trying to make sure people don't hear is just a watered down version of Kenny Copeland, which is God wants you to be rich, and so that's great because He likes to bless you. So keep as much as you want. I think make as much
all
as you
you
can,
can.
save all you can, so you can give all you can. Right.
Yeah. I think that's a healthy space to live in.
Totally.
And then I would just say, especially in Atlantic Canada, because we are steeped in a poverty spirit,
Yep.
I would just be very careful casting judgment on the heart of somebody who has a lot.
Well, and so this was the other side of what I was going to say, though. Like so many things, what you do with this is about what you do with this,
Yes.
right? So if your pastor has a car that's nicer than you think it should be,
Yeah.
it's not really any of your business.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If you have a friend who, you know, what's to them seems to be just the adequate home it takes to care for their family is way nicer than what you think is like. I don't think this is a grounds to judge each other. But I do think it's a grounds to, if you wake up someday and realize you have 37 Breitlings, might be time to sell some of those and find something more productive to do for the kids.
I mean, that's a pretty egregious example. Like, and I think maybe it's even not that he has so much money. It's that it's all tied up in, you have two wrists.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's what I mean by hoarding. Like if you go back to your scenario where you make $5 billion, if you said, "Here's what I'm going to do,"
I'm buying watches, baby.
Well,
100 Breitlings.
no, but go the opposite direction. What if you said, "Look,
See, you're 37.
I'm gonna take a chunk of that money,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna
buying Breitling.
and I'm gonna invest
The
it,
company.
and I'm gonna invest it in such a way that the dividends for that will allow me to give to King's Church once a year enough money to launch a new location."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still technically going to be mine, but I'm it's my investment. I'm not giving it to Kings to invest, but I have a plan for how to use this to make more money, to fund more. Great, go for it. Or if you said, you know what, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to buy an old hotel on Graham and Ann, and I'm going to turn it into a retreat for pastors or battered women or something that matters for the kingdom, right? I'm going to own it. I will own a $2 million property somewhere, but I'm going to use it for the great. Fill your boots. But to me, it's the flash, the glamour, the stuff that has no value. Like
Again, what is the object that's getting glorified?
yes,
What's the object of beauty?
Well, and this is the question: how does this advance the kingdom?
Yeah, well, I think it's purely it's like a matter of the heart. Like your problem is that this is a matter of heart. We're also saying if there is a counterpoint, it's a matter of the heart.
Yes,
They're
and I'm
both-
just and again, my clarification is just
Two sides of the same
how
coin.
how you discern what that is not you shouldn't leave it up to your own divided heart to decide
Right.
how your heart's doing with that.
No,
like,
and
lots of people
I
of people would feel completely unconvicted about levels of wealth that the Holy Spirit would tell them were wrong.
Right.
For sure, and I do think some of those people who are ultra wealthy, have already proven to be quite wise to get to that point. And
I would also say this, Brent, though, you don't deal with a representative sample of the wealthy.
I do within the church,
The people within the church are not a representative sample of the wealthy.
but that's who I care about.
Well, yeah, but
I don't care about what,
Yeah, I'm just saying it would be easy to hear what you're saying as most rich people are generous.
No, I'm saying most rich Christians are.
Yeah, most rich Christians that
I do think that there's a stereotype of a rich person, though, where we automatically default to they must have got this by nefarious means.
Yeah,
and they're
no.
not generous. And I think they're way more generous than
Yeah,
Totally.
and a lot
Than
of
we
it's in
think.
secret. And a lot of it you
Yeah.
can't even understand the depths and
Absolutely.
the complexity behind it.
Yep.
Like it's the age old like everyone should have the same amount. No, they shouldn't.
no,
like if you
no.
snapped your fingers, and like today we just said everyone we're going to divide the global wealth equally across every human being, 8 billion people.
Yeah.
They all get the same. Within years, there'd be the same.
It'd be back to the same.
distribution.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear. I don't think it's wrong to be rich, and I don't think it's wrong for people who are rich to live at a higher level than people who aren't. Again,
sure.
my point is just don't only trust. Do I feel good about this to determine where that line would be? But I also know, I know a lot of very wealthy people who run big corporations. I mean, I know in theory there's wealthy people who run big businesses who make lots of money so they can give lots of money, and they take what from a lot of people would seem like fairly extravagant vacations. But I also know they deal with a level of stress that the guy who screws on the third lug nut from the left all day, every day at the factory doesn't deal with.
That
And I'm
point
fine with
exactly
that.
though, like again, it's not as easy as saying, okay, to the ultra rich billionaire who's a Christian, don't trust your own judgment on what you think is a healthy line. Well, who is he gonna get to say, hey Brent, who's never cleared X amount of dollars,
Right.
what do you think, my lifestyle should look like? That's between them and God.
Yeah.
That I would say
said
that's a thing to discern with the Holy Spirit, and maybe even with some brothers and sisters in Christ who might have some idea what you're going through. But I think between you and God is often just a way, culturally, is often a way to say it's no one else's business.
Yeah.
Whatever they decide is right.
So if this has
And
been
that's my
helpful
point.
to the 0.01% of the dozens who are independently wealthy,
You can send your tithe to.
it's
But I do think it is really important, and you and I would be very much in the same place on. I do think there is a tendency, and it's common in our part of the world, to assume that pastors should be poor, or that they should. It'd be wrong if they lived at a level that someone else in their, financially, that someone else in the congregation doesn't. And I don't buy that, and I don't think it's healthy for the church or the ministry, let alone for the pastor who you should care about.
taking myself out of it. Like if I'm just a church parishioner, I would want my pastor at or above the medium.
Yeah,
Like just
totally.
objective.
I mean, I get
Which
asked
again, we are here just for the record at King's. Like King's does sets the pace in that area as far
I
as
get asked
paying pastors
by other churches frequently, like, how much should we pay? Like, we're looking to hire someone for this position. And again, one of the biggest things I just say is like, do you want to get the best out of them? And not from like a financial reward perspective, but just take the financial stress out of their life. I'll tell you one quick story before we move on about this. The second church my dad worked in was not wildly affluent, but very, they had plenty of money. And he asked for a raise at one point because they were having a hard time making ends meet.
Your parents were, the
My
church
parents.
wasn't.
Yeah, my parents were. So my dad asked for a raise, and they said no.
Which he should never have to do, by the way.
But they just felt like he was making enough. It had nothing to do with what the church could afford. They just didn't think he was making
arbitrarily.
enough. So this was in the States where, some Canadians, you've heard references to things like government cheese or government milk. Like that's a real thing. A truck would pull up with like these white label branded, looks like what's the thing from Lost? The Dharma Project labels, basically, except for without the weird symbol. and it's just a block of cheese that just says in like white with black letters, cheese or milk or peanut butter or whatever. And you would just go get in line and they would hand you some for your family. It's like a mobile food bank sort of a thing. And so there wasn't enough food in the house. So Dad went down and got in line in this small town. And I don't think he'd made it back home before word had gone through the whole church that Pastor Pete is down in the food handout line. And the board called a meeting with him. They said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I told you guys we weren't making ends meet. I got to feed my family here, boys." And they were so shamed that their pastor was not that they had paid him so poorly, but that their pastor was in the line, that they basically gave him more money to make themselves look good so he'd stay out of the line. So all that to say, again, I want to be clear. I think there's a very unhealthy direction that an overfixation on this goes. I also do think there's something to be said for just making sure that we're using our money for the kingdom.
The money just can't be an idol, and it's true for churches. Like our church has the biggest financial footprint in Atlantic Canada, and we most aggressively sow in. Like just talking dollar amount. Like we have the most and we give the most. And I think that's not coincidental.
No, totally. Well, why don't we want to talk about some UAPs?
Yeah.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. So in recent days, the U.S. government has released more videos and documentation and stuff of unidentified aerial phenomenon. Have any of you guys been paying attention to that? So does any of it seem
unidentified flying object?
Does any of it seem? We've been getting these dumps. Seems like every few months for a while. Is there anything in this recent one that seems more significant than what was in the earlier releases? Either way, kind of what are your thoughts on the whole thing, Mike? I know you wrote on this recently.
Yeah, check out Mike's Substack again. We mention this pretty well every time, but it's always worth the read. And just give us the download, kind of where you're coming from on that.
Yeah,
your latest
well,
post.
Obviously it's been in the news and it's been online a lot. And
specifically, what was in the news was
it started with a group of pastors who supposedly were called into a meeting with government officials, and then the story got muddied pretty fast. But the bottom line is that they've released a lot of images and videos and documents about UAPs and the fear, like the fear point going around was like, this is going to undermine Christianity.
It's going to ruin your faith.
Going to, subvert your theology and all of that kind of stuff. But so far what has been released has been pretty underwhelming, I think, for most people.
Just weird stuff. We don't know what it is.
Weird, blurry photos, and
there's no conversation with an alien that I've seen.
Well, that's the thing. They keep setting this up like they're gonna walk a dude out of a hangar at Area 51, and he's gonna be like, "I come in peace."
No, they're walking a dude out of some other place while we're looking at Area 51. His name's Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, exactly. Or what was the other the Palm Beach Pete? Yes, it's Palm Beach Pete.
I actually do think that it's not coincidental when they stir this crap up. Dude, there's other stuff they don't want us looking at.
There was a pastor's page that a guy asked, like, what do we make of this the other day, Facebook page that I'm on, and I posted a picture of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I just said, these are not the Epstein files you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
There's rumor he's coming back.
Epstein?
Yeah.
Would that make him the Antichrist?
No, that he's not dead.
Oh, anyway. Yeah. No,
I grew up with like all of that stuff because my dad was like really into UFOs, and he even before like I went to school, I was really young. Like he actually took me to the window and we looked into the backyard, and he said, my people are coming back for me someday. I'm from another planet.
Oh my word!
And like my grandfather worked in a lime quarry, and he said like he told me that his dad like found him in a crashed spaceship, buried the spaceship, took him home and raised him.
Was he just messing with you?
Well, he just had a wild imagination. So he literally said, "You're going to have to choose."
I think that's a mental condition.
How many Breitlings do you have?
He said, "You're going to have to choose. Like the spaceship is going to land there in the backyard, and you're going to have to choose whether you stay on Earth with Mom or whether you come with me."
Wow.
And so I was like,
that's hard on a kid's head.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So I grew up like with reading all kinds of Chariots of the Gods kind of stuff and
Chariots of my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. And I read I literally read like Like I read the Gospel of Thomas before I read the Gospel of John. Like I was like I went to all the weird stuff first. And even as a non-Christian, I was like, "Yeah,
I'm glad you made it out."
There's nothing here."
Talk about the deck stacked against you.
He's up at Kingswood, and that spaceship finally came for him. Mike's not here.
Right? Not here.
Like compared to like comparing it to what I've experienced with Jesus, it's just kind of nonsense, right?
Yeah.
So,
I find that at this point I feel like I'm kind of the boy who cried wolf. Like we got evidence, and it's like it's just the same stuff again. Like it's another blurry thing. It's another.
The one thing I would speak to though is and again I just think this is classic social media. Like you're seeing a lot of. I mean, I guess we're doing it. Technically, you're seeing you're seeing a lot of pastors
discussion,
putting out their hot takes about it, and consistently you're hearing the take that it's demons, it's demons, it's demons. Maybe, and I do think. Like I've seen some of the foot or the pictures they've released, and like, some of them look like descriptions of weird angels in the Old Testament. Like,
and by demons, you mean the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim.
Reset the counter. We were gonna make it too, man. We were on our way. But I've seen a lot of like some very prominent evangelical pastors just carte blanche saying it's demons. Don't worry about it. It's within our theology. Yes, it's within our theology, but so is Little Green Men.
Totally.
Like if there are, and so is, hey, I'm Barton from the planet Quasar, and I flew here. I knew Mike's dad. I knew Mike's dad. Me and Mike's dad.
Me and Mike's dad were drinking, buddy, on Pulsar 4.
We go way back. But
I bring you some Romulan ale.
I think the thing worth talking about though is, and we've talked about this before, but it's not going away. Like, what does this do to your theology? And again, I would caution the pastors that are like you're doing a disservice to your people if you're only equipping them with a theology that fits within angels and demons.
Yeah.
You know, like the Bible has like the first heaven, second heaven, and the third heaven. First heaven being like it starts with the space off your skin. It's like it's the air.
Yeah.
Second heaven's like space outside of our atmosphere. Like so, and there's a lot that can be in the second heaven that we don't know about. And then the third heaven's like the realm of the spirit. Like we don't. Some of these UAP pictures could be third heaven things.
Yep.
Could be angels. Could be demons. Very well possible. Could also be second heaven things that we have no idea what we're talking about. Like it's just part of God's creation that God didn't tell us about a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know,
Or legit could be weather balloons.
could be weather balloons. Could be China.
The last China. The last bunch that they dumped, it was fascinating. I watched this like science guy on YouTube, and he was just going through all these things like the parallax effect and all like how it's like, you know, don't think that you're seeing what you're seeing in terms of like there are things with how stuff moves or how light refracts through the atmosphere, like all these things that can make things look, you know, especially when you're talking these super blurry, like white.
Well, there's
white
all
blobs.
kinds of phenomena that goes on in the world.
Yeah, it's
that
just a weird world.
We can't explain, and it's in the interpretation, right? It's in how you frame it, that where the meaning is.
Yeah, I think
so,
so to land on my point though on like what the pastors are saying, and then even going back to like it is weird to me that like the government called in the pastors to have this meeting. Like, was that a psyop? Like, were they actually trying to get?
Have you seen like what actually happened with that though too?
No.
So all the early reports I saw were government officials have called a group of prominent evangelical pastors to like give them a heads up about this massive UFO disclosure.
Yeah. So that you can pastor your people.
Right. Then
because they care so much about
Then
that.
I heard a guy who, I don't remember his name, but he was in his little world, a prominent pastor who had basically like overreacted to that. He'd been invited to this meeting and overreacted to it. But in the course of it, he explained it was in Minnesota, the state senator called together like 10 or 12 prominent pastors from his state and just was talking about, I think, a few other things too, but mentioned that this disclosure was coming. So it's one of the, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike.
Well, it's there were two meetings in Tennessee from and it was after the Religious Broadcasters Convention. So there were a group of pastors already there, and they were called by people who had like connections in the government, but were not government officials.
Yeah.
who had concerns.
They must have been Christians, were they?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay.
And I think the concerns are legitimate, but it got blown into like all
so
kinds
what
of
happened
things.
then,
Shocking.
Yeah.
what happened then was word got out to some insiders that they were going to release some more UFO stuff. And those guys, not saying it's wrong, took it upon themselves to give some pastors a heads up. But somehow that got to the point where it came across, at least, as like the CIA called in the top
That's what it
20
sounded like.
pastors
Right.
and sat them down and showed them the pictures of the little green men
Yeah.
and said, this is coming, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's also just, again, yet another warning to remember that the algorithm pushes the most shocking version of
Totally.
everything. And
Yeah. But we do, just make sure your theology, even the fear of, okay, whatever these well-intended government people were, trying to avoid, if you think that Christianity is so frail that it can't handle something like that, well, the people who fall away didn't get got in the first place. Because, our whole thing's not built on whether or not there's green men or not. Like, that's not why I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
So I think any of this stuff, I say bring it. Like, it's only going to make the faithful more faithful, and the faulty are going to falter.
I think too,
That'll preach.
it's one of the blessings of the fact that we already know Scripture doesn't address everything.
Yeah.
Just everything we need for salvation.
Right.
Yeah.
That to go like, things that don't, like, where do you find that in Scripture? It's like, dude, I ate cereal today. I can't find bran buds in Scripture. You know what I mean? Like I've, whatever, I got a Chihuahua. You're not going to find one of those in Scripture. Like, there's, just because it's not overtly named in Scripture doesn't mean it can't fit in a biblical.
That's right.
Fun fact and completely unhelpful. The Scripture does address the fact that ostriches can run faster than horses.
There you go.
There you go.
So,
So it is a
There's
biology
that.
book.
Yeah, there you go.
Good. All right, last.
my favorite class was biology, especially the Old Testament. Great line from 30 Rock. Let's do a little processing.
Little processing. What are you guys working through these days?
I kind of had a few, like, we just go, what are you working through in general? But I had a couple of thoughts on this, maybe to give us some direction. I mean, we can do the kind of classic, what ideas are you wrestling with? But I also thought it might be kind of interesting just in terms of, like, dudes sharing with the dozens, kind of, what are you guys praying about these days? Like, what are for yourself, for your family, for your ministry, for your region, for the world, like beyond I'm sure we're all praying for our kids and you know what I mean? Like that. But like, what are maybe some of the unique things or kind of in this season things that you're praying about or praying for these days?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, after having a heart attack in the fall, like I had like a pretty clear picture of what I thought this year was going to look like.
Right.
And
So did I, by the way.
And
So did poor
and then
Mark.
it was like
so did Mark.
all the puzzle pieces got thrown up in the air, and so I'm just kind of praying through like, okay, Lord, like, I don't believe the Lord causes bad things, and He takes us through. He took me through that season, but like, okay, Lord, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, where am I taking some turns here? Like, what is it's looking back on it now? What does all that mean? And kind of what does it mean for my future? What I'm supposed to be doing right now?
So just discerning the whole direction of the rest of your life.
I'll jump on
That's a
that. 'Cause
valid
it's
project.
similar to me. Two things on maybe what I'm praying for. One's more like it's not a what, it's a how.
Right.
And I've been daily praying. Like I can't recommend the Pause app enough, the John Eldridge's app. But specifically praying his morning prayer, and it's like a very comprehensive, specific prayer that like aims to restore your union with the Father, Son, and the Spirit.
Yep.
And then naming quite a few things just in terms of awareness of the kingdom, access to the kingdom, awareness of supernatural forces and demonic powers. And so I've just been praying through like this, it's about an 8-minute prayer every morning, and just doing it. And just, it's still new enough where I've been doing it daily, where I'm watching. I want to see what happens if I do this for a few months. typically when you pray, you do see the evidence of that at some point. And so I'm just trying that out. Like I've always prayed every day, but specifically praying through this prayer that is a very comprehensive, like total life health prayer. So, but what am I praying about right now? I'm praying a lot into, other than the usual stuff like family and kids and all that, praying a lot into vision. Not specifically for my life, although it's part of it, but for our church, and like, what does the next 20 years look like? Which, I'm coming to the 20-year mark of my ministry. I've been here 20 years in May. I guess it is May. So yeah, 20 years.
Happy 20 years.
Thank you. Thank you. And, I've just been asking God, like, give me fresh vision, and it's different this time. I had a very important meeting with, a mentor of mine, Kevin Myers, in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and him just challenging me, like, this side of your ministry, your first half was, proving, and now you're proven, and you have more responsibility with that to steward that well. And there's a huge temptation, like going back to what Leonce preached on here at King's a few weeks ago. The most dangerous place for you is the place of success. And so just praying, asking God to give me fresh and expanded and even risky vision and faith to go after it. So that's kind of where I've been at, just starting to ask the Lord to help me dream. And maybe, I don't know if you guys find this, but when you're younger, you're a little more eager to run into a wall.
Yep.
And
Right.
so,
Right.
so I have wisdom now, and I know what some of those battles cost.
Yeah.
And yet, I'm far too young to let off the gas. So what does putting the pedal to the metal look like in the next 20 years? Those are kind of what I've been praying about. And that goes with the rest of your questions too. Like I'm trying to hear that from God, and I'm wrestling with that right now. So
Yeah. I think for me, I think outside of everything else is just the thing I'm sort of currently hovering around is just this idea of, I feel like the Lord's freeing me up from frustration. And like, I think the frustration is sort of born, I come by it honestly, like when anyone carries a measure of zeal and passion for the things that they feel God called them to, it can, and it really, 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 really matters to you, which is not bad. Problem can come when you put too much value in your own efforts, and you make judgments and assessments based on the fruit that you may or may not be seeing, and that can lead to frustration. So I feel like really specifically this year, the Lord has me on this journey of freeing me up. Because I think the last time I talked was talking about like a word from the year about enjoying the Lord. Like it's the Westminster Catechism. The chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy him forever. So it was really that call to enjoy God. And one of the blockages in my life that prevented the enjoyment of God was frustration, because I was only looking at, my life, my ministry through this lens of what wasn't working, essentially. And so it was, it was robbing me of joy. Simple. And so I feel like through the course of really the last number of months, the Lord has really taken me on this journey of freeing me up from being frustrated.
I would affirm that in you, man. Like,
Yeah. Thanks.
you can feel it in the atmosphere, like in how you carry yourself. Like,
Yeah.
When
Less
there's
Costanza-ish.
well, when there's I would never have called him that.
No, I just when I think of who's that icon of frustration.
But he doesn't hide.
She's bald.
He's not somebody, and neither am I. So it takes one to know one who's able to hide his frustration.
Correct.
So either the Lord's gonna deal with that.
That used to drive me nuts.
Yeah,
Like the Lord's gonna deal with that at a
100%.
deeper level or not.
Yeah.
You're not a person that's able to just fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Like, so sometimes that will mean, and I do it too. Like we both are that way. But like, if I'm frustrated, everybody's gonna know it, and the whole room's gonna feel it. And like it's been cool to see, like it does feel like you're walking in a deeper level of freedom.
Yeah, I think, I do feel that, because I think some of it is like,
because you can just spill your frustration and angst on everybody else, right? And you become this anxious presence.
And I think some of it comes from like that it's the misconstruing, or the sort of maybe not misconstruing, but it's the misusing of passion and zeal in your life, and then equating that with somehow like it's a simple thing. It's like there's good stewardship of the call of God in your life, and then there's like thinking it's more than it actually is. If that, totally. And again, like, and it's like somehow there's a line in there where you can be so passionate that you actually think, just to say it bluntly, you think you're more important than you actually are in the call of God. And so it's, and it doesn't come out like that. It doesn't come out as arrogance, even though it's rooted probably in pride, but it comes out as like, it is as a harsh taskmaster in the back of your mind saying like, you gotta, like this isn't working. Like, think about this harder, ruminate on this more, like work harder.
It's coming out of a hunger and thirst for righteousness.
Yes, but it's just,
but you're missing that, and they will be
that you've gone so far. It's gone so far that you fall into the opposite ditch.
Well, and it's like it's easy in our hunger and thirst for things to be right.
Yeah.
To think that the promise there in the Beatitudes, like those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, they will be satisfied, or they'll be fed. Isn't that like what
they'll be filled?
They'll be filled, right?
Yeah.
I think the promise there is not, I'm going to make everything all right in the immediate. So I'll fill you,
right?
Like, and so like he's the thing that fills and satisfies, not everything finally being just so.
Yeah, yeah, and I think where Paul says, "Don't be weary in well doing."
Yeah,
like I know, like that was like the word, like you've become weary in well doing.
Yeah,
right. Because I think that leads to that.
When you have like a goal in mind too, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to feel like you're doing well if you aren't. Like, are we playing well? Well, how many points have we scored?
Yeah,
right. And if it's one of those things like, no, dude, like we're playing well, but it's just not showing up on the scoreboard yet. Like it's really easy to get frustrated in those seasons.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've got kind of two things. One is specifically I've been praying about the potential of doing some sort of further education of some sort, so just kind of a discernment thing, but that really plays into maybe a bigger discernment season I'm in right now of just kind of what is my, not like my job, like not my, like my 9 to 5, so to speak, not that ministry's ever 9 to 5, but like kind of how do I see what my calling is for this season? Like what is the theme of it? What is the the overarching kind of principle behind it?
What am I?
Well, you know what I mean? Like what is this season of life for me? And I'm I'm a little older than you are, Brent, but I mean, not nearly as old as Mike, but but yeah, like I'm just about halfway through my like kind of active ministry career, maybe just a little more. I've got roughly 20 years or so left before I would be retirement age. I highly doubt I'll retire at that age, but yeah, and I kind of feel like there's been this kind of transition in my life, and just trying to just listening to the Lord on that, and I think one of the things I'd want to just point out on that, at least 3 of us are kind of in a season like that of one extent or another, like, Lord, what's next? And I know a lot of times when I talk to people about like hearing what God's will is for your life or whatever, like they think it's a thing that happens once when you're 18.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm just like, no, it's just, you just always are doing it. Right. So just
well,
stay
you're a rookie in every season, right?
Totally.
Like, even though you're seasoned in some things, like you've never faced this season before.
This is the first time
So
I've
you're
done
like
this.
a rookie.
Yeah.
And if you're going to war, right? Like you don't join the army, show up at boot camp, they go, here's your orders.
Yeah.
And then check in when the war's over. You know what I mean? Like you get fresh orders, fresh directions, you get redirect. So and then the other thing, it is what I'm praying for in some sense, but more broadly, I've just in the last like maybe month, 6 weeks, I've just felt like the Lord has unlocked something in me around intercession for other people. Like I've never been, if you ask me to pray for you, I'll pray for you, but like just there's been people the Lord has given me a burden to pray for consistently.
Good.
Some of them, I'm aware of what's going on in their life. Some of them, I was talking to my wife about one of them the other day. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, I don't know why I'm praying for this person, but I can't not. Like, just almost every time I spend time in prayer, they come to my mind. So now they're on the list. And it's been cool. I'm not naturally that kind of person. I'm not naturally like super shepherdy and pastorally and like, let me think about all the people who are hurting around me. And I say that to say it's clearly an evidence of something the Lord's doing, that he's just going, all right, and maybe I've taken enough hits in life now that I've got some empathy or something, and God's just going, all right,
I think he
here's
wants
some people.
that. I think he wants that from most of his people, though. Like, how many things is he working out in the spirit that we have no idea about, and he's looking for a willing agent on earth to partner with his will.
It becomes fun too, and like there's some people I know eventually. I do think eventually I'll know why I'm praying for them.
Yeah. Right.
So it's kind of one of those, like, you're just kind of going like, ooh, I'm just wait. Like, some of them are like, you know, people that I go to church with and stuff, and I'm like, every week I'm kind of like looking at, is this the week God's going to get him about whatever that thing is, or is this
coming.
the week? Or there's other, like, had an experience recently where there's a person I felt like God led me to just pray for regularly. And because I pray for them regularly, it occurs to my mind to check in with them sometimes. Somebody's going through some stuff. And so I like reached out to them and just, hey, how's it going? You know, and they were, oh man, it means so much that you would. So it's just, I don't know. It's what's happening to me in prayer, but through prayer, it's something God's shaping in me that hasn't generally been natural for me. And it's just really cool to see. And I want to give him credit.
Just to put a rubber stamp on that, or underline it, or whatever, bold it. Like, I have been italics, yeah, that too.
My wife and I had a big discussion the other day about whether italics make something stronger or weaker. Anyway,
right. But just to say, like, you know, I have recently been the recipient of someone on the other, like, I have been on the other end of that conversation, and it was like there's this little old lady who calls me at the right time, and she's done it twice over the last number of years, and she did it once this fall, and it was like the lowest point of, say, the last number of years.
Wow.
And she shoots me a text. She goes, "You've been on my mind. God's put me on you. I've been praying for you. How are you doing?" And it was like at the right time. So it's like I've seen the fruit of. So just to say, you know, for anybody listening, if you're feeling the nudge, you have no idea. But go for it. I don't even know what you're laughing.
Think about the comment I made to you in church. I love it.
To jump on that, I want to encourage every Christian. Like, we need to just be aware and open to those prompts.
Yeah.
Because I really do think that God is working on our behalf through other believers in ways we don't know. One of the prayers at the end of the day prayer that Eldridge does, I prayed it last night, was like, and Lord, I agree with all of the prayers that were prayed today for me that I don't know about.
Okay.
That's
you
good.
know, like, just
That guy.
Yeah, dude, he's drinking from a deep well.
Yeah.
So what does that look like in real time for some people? I'm like you, AJ. Like, I'll just get doing my business and, you know, kind of locked in. So sometimes I'll miss the prompts of the Spirit, but he has shown me some ways that he gets my attention. One thing will be if I see somebody like out and about multiple times in a week, I'll take that as a cue that, like, just like kind of a curious, like, oh man, I saw you like 2 days ago, or like more than a few times where you're just like, okay, Lord, do you want me to pray for that person? Or
if it sticks out how many times you bumped into them, it's probably sticking out for a reason.
Or sometimes too, I'll see somebody that I thought was somebody, and then I get closer and it's not them, but I was sure it was them. And then I'll take that as a cue too, where it's like the Lord wanted me to think about that person. Yeah. So figure out those little ways that God communicates with you, because I think He's much more eager to partner with you. Yeah. And your little, you know, God be with Brent right now, prayers matter a lot. Totally. Like, you don't have to even know. Like, God is just looking for your agreement on earth. Absolutely. Just say, Lord, clearly Brent's on your heart, or so-and-so's on your heart right now. I don't know what's going on with them, but Lord, I just pray your will be done in their lives. Bless them, protect them, whatever the enemy's got going against them. We just come against it in your name. Like, just a small little prayer, man. Who even knows what's happening in the Spirit?
Along with what you were saying there, Anthony, too, about paying attention to those promptings. Like, I think some people, they're worried, like, what if I'm wrong? Like, what
Yeah.
if that wasn't the leading of the Lord? And I would just say two things. It's never going to hurt someone to pray for them.
Right.
And the other thing is,
Yeah.
though, too, I think the Lord is honored by your heart of obedience, even if what you did in obedience to Him wasn't something.
Let's fail risk and try
wasn't,
to please him.
wasn't something He asked you to do.
Yeah.
Like, if you just said, "Oh, I thought you wanted me to do this, so I did it." If it's prayer, like He's never going to be like, "You moron," you know what I mean? Like, like worst case scenario, you were an extra prayer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just the leaning on your own understanding. Like I have dismissed things that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so it's just like whatever we can do to like stop, like learn and grow and not dismissing things that don't make sense.
And prayer is wildly low risk in that
Oh,
sense. Like, it's one thing
100%.
if the Lord's like, turn
that's
around,
that's all true.
drive into that person's house, knock on the front door, and tell them, like,
Yeah.
If he says it,
if you
do
say
it.
it, you should
Yeah.
do it. But the threshold for how sure you need to be
for
is
sure.
maybe
It's
a little
pretty
higher
low.
on
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But like,
yeah,
if you just feel a
100%.
prompting of the Lord to pray for someone, pray for him. And if you're not
Yeah.
sure if it's a prompting, of the Lord, pray for him anyway.
Yeah,
You got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah. One other thing, just before we go on, another quick thing I wanted to say, kind of something you said there, Brent, reminded me about that. Like, I agree with all the prayers that have been prayed for me today. One of the habits I've been getting into in my daily prayer time too is taking more seriously the idea that Jesus intercedes for us.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'll frequently go through this kind of like, Lord Jesus, would you, like, I pray, help with this, help with this, help with that, whatever. And then would you pray for me what I don't know enough to pray for myself? Would you pray for me what I'm not courageous enough to pray for myself? Would you pray for me what I'm, too proud to pray for? Like, kind of like just I'll kind of a list of those, and again, led by the Holy Spirit, but just kind of going like, in the same way I can say yes to a prayer someone else prayed without knowing exactly what it is. I think I can ask Jesus to pray for me without being sure what I'm asking him to pray for me. Like,
or even like, and I interpret that yes, like when I envision that prayer of like, Lord, I come into agreement with all the prayers that were prayed for me today by others.
Yeah.
Him being the first on the list.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, like that he's interceding on my behalf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now.
Totally.
Wild.
And then going the other half and going like, if there's something you didn't happen to pray for me for, but it would be good, please do that. Like,
I feel like he's covering the bases.
I do too. But I'm giving you
Jesus,
a post.
did you think of this one?
Well, no, but that's the point. I didn't think of anything, so I'm giving you a post yes and a pre yes, like whatever you're saying. Yeah. All right. Well, that's been really meaningful and important. So let's do something stupid before we go.
Finish the music theme here.
Yeah, we're back on the music front. So I want to know for the Mountainous top four, what are your guys' top 4 cover songs? I don't mean by that your top 4 songs that you think are good for people to cover, but I'm talking a song that is great, that maybe even to the point that it's more associated with a given artist or whatever, but is a cover song, and you would go like, this is awesome, even though this person didn't write it. I don't want to steal one from anybody, but I would say that if you're looking for an idea of what I'm saying, like the classic example would probably be Whitney Houston and I Will Always Love You, right? It's a Dolly Parton song. It's a Dolly Parton song,
delete.
but it's kind of her song now. That's the classic.
Yep.
So what do you got, guys? What do you got?
I'm happy. I know my list is killer, but
Well, mine's mid, so let me go. Let me go first. All right, number 4, "Hound Dog" by Elvis Presley.
Ooh, who sang that originally?
Little known fact, he stole it from a black person named
a lady,
Big,
right?
Big Mama Thornton.
I mean, he stole everything.
She
from a
wrote it
black
in
person, but-
1953. He took it and appropriated it.
There you go.
there you go.
Number 3, Ray Charles, "Georgia on My Mind." Such a good song. It came out in the 60s, but it originally was a song in the 1930s.
Okay.
Number 2, "Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's
Oh,
door." That's the better version.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan's got a lot of songs that are famous because someone else made them famous. So Bob Dylan wrote that.
His
Guns N'
version of it
Roses.
isn't terrible. I mean,
No,
if you're
it's
into
all
Bob
right.
Dylan, but Guns N' Roses, whole other level. Yeah.
My number 1, it's not a famous because of this cover, but it is just a pure cover that I thought was well done, was John Mayer and a band named Alexander 23 covering "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," and it is phenomenal.
that out.
Yeah.
That's one of those songs that like I don't like the genre of it, but
song
just the
is-
song
it's the
itself I
perfect
enjoy.
song.
Yes,
It's the
it
perfect
is.
song.
It is. Top 3 of the 80s.
It's a
altogether.
9-9.
There you go.
It's a 9-9. Yeah.
Well, Mike, you want to go next because
All right.
Anthony's
Well, I've
perfect.
got "All Along the Watchtower," which was
yeah.
a Dylan
Another
song.
Dylan song.
Hendrix.
Yeah.
Hendrix made
Well,
it a lot more
and
famous.
U2's version is great too
Yeah, it is.
on Joshua
Yes, it
Tree.
is.
Right. "Hurt" by Johnny
Oh,
Cash,
yeah. Johnny
which is a
Cash.
Nine Inch
Yeah.
Nails song, but
Yep.
I like his version better. With a little help from my friends, Joe
Oh
Cocker.
yeah, Joe Cocker.
Oh.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
Beatles.
yeah.
It's a Beatles song.
It is. Yeah.
yeah. And then I like Obadiah Parker's version of Hey Ya, which
Okay.
which is
Like
like
the
it's an
Outkast?
Yeah.
It's Outkast, but he does like an
I
acoustic
was gonna say,
version.
is he one of the guys who like slowed
like
it
a
down and you
slowed
can hear
down
how sad
acoustic
it
version
actually
that
is?
that is so much better, I think.
you
So
go.
those are mine.
Yeah. So I also had "Hurt" by Johnny Cash. I think that might be the greatest cover of all time. I just think that it was the raw emotion, the frailty of his voice, and the whole thing.
Well, and the
knowing his-
video.
knowing
He's
his-
almost dead.
He's
when-
literally-
Knowing his life.
Have you?
Yeah.
There's a line apparently that when Trent Reznor first heard his version of it, he just said, "That's his song now."
Yeah, right.
I just kind of
Yeah,
realized like
yeah.
everyone's going to be disappointed
Yeah.
if I perform this.
Yeah. I got one. This one will get you. "The Sound of Silence" by Disturbed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember that one?
Yes. No.
That was so. That was
It's a
such a good.
little darker.
A
Than
little
the
darker.
original.
Little darker. Killer. And another one was "Stairway to Heaven" by Hart and Jason Bonham. The
never heard
live they did it when they were honoring Led Zeppelin at the Kennedy thing.
Led Zeppelin was there.
Yeah,
right?
Led
Like,
Zeppelin. They
were
actually
there.
did it for, and it was and what's his name? Robert Plant cried. So anyway, that was pretty cool.
Because he knew what the royalties would be. Said, "Here comes Breitling number 38."
Yeah, and the probably the most
Suck it, Copeland.
what's the fourth one is "Heroes" by Peter Gabriel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
That's a
the,
Bowie, is that a Bowie song?
it's a David Bowie
Yeah,
song.
we
that-
could be.
I think the
heroes.
Wallflowers did the best.
but you
yeah,
you should hear. You need to
Just
hear.
for one day.
Yeah,
I
you
love that
need to hear
song.
this song. It just evokes all the right emotions in me.
Think I
So
can
there you go. I had Whitney Houston, but I went here, and I actually have an honorable mention. "Stand by Me" by Stephen Wilson Jr.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That is really well
That's
done.
a super
Yeah.
good one.
Well, I'm gonna have to promote. I'm gonna have to promote some honorable mentions to my main list because I also had "Hurt" by Johnny Cash, and I also had "Knocking on Heaven's Door" by Guns N' Roses. So I'm gonna throw in "Long Black Veil" by Dave Matthews. That's an old traditional folk song that he covered.
I feel honorable mention to Bob Marley for knocking on heaven's doors as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he actually made it famous before.
Maybe someday we
TNR.
should do a list of the top 4 cover songs, as in songs that work the best as covers. Like there's the most good covers of it.
Right.
Well, "Hallelujah" is covered
Yes.
by everyone in
the
the world.
worst. The worst.
I had Leonard Cohen on our list of overhated, overrated, and I was like, that guy, you couldn't,
Overrated.
dude. He
So
There are
overrated.
people who sing bad well, but he sings bad. Like Neil Young sings bad well.
Yes.
Leonard Cohen sings bad poorly.
Yeah,
So yeah, "The Man Who Sold the World" from Nirvana's Unplugged album.
Yeah.
Great one.
I'm also going to throw in then "Where Did You Sleep Last Night" by Nirvana from their Unplugged
That
album.
album,
Okay.
Yeah. And then probably, other than Johnny Cash, and certainly in terms of upbeat, I think my favorite cover song of all time is "Smooth Criminal" by Alien Ant.
I had that on my list.
Yeah.
Yes.
To me, my category had to be though. It's better than the original.
I think it's better than the original.
Aw, MJ, come on.
Yeah.
No,
Come on.
I'm not a MJ hater, although I don't.
The whole pedophilia thing.
Well, no, but I really I don't have a thing against him. I
Yeah.
do think he was overrated, but
what?
yeah, I just
Dude,
that's all it's saying.
Thriller.
Yeah.
Come on, man. The way you make me feel. Human nature.
Yeah.
Human nature is one of the.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, no, yeah.
Well, Weird Al gets a shout out for like
Everything.
everything.
and shout out
Every
Weird
song
Al.
he's covered.
I find with Weird Al frequently when he does a song and I get that song stuck in my head, I'll go back and forth between the real lyrics and his lyrics, and I get all confused. But
Well,
there
it's
we
been
go.
fun, fellas. We will
times.
see you next time.